They have no territories, no army of their own, and no national currency. But that's only for now. They exist mostly online, and they have billions of followers who trust them more than politicians. Can you guess who I'm talking about today? The biggest tech companies in the world have become nation-states, and we haven't even noticed. When will Facebook become more powerful than the White House? When will Amazon start controlling every aspect of our life? And when will Google rule the world? Let's talk about that in today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and like the Pro Robots channel. Here we go. There are millions of communities online, but some of them already resemble superpowers, not even states. 1/3 of the world's population, more than 2,600,000,000 people, are registered on Facebook. And as of today, Elon Musk has not launched his global network of satellite internet Starlink, which should cover the entire world. We don't quite have a name for it yet. Let us know down in the comments. Would you prefer digital or networked states? Maybe you have your own options. Anyway, this year, despite the pandemic, the combined value of 4 out of the 5 largest American tech companies of Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft exceeded $5 trillion. The combined net income of these companies plus Google for 2019 was nearly $1 trillion, more than the GDP of 4 G20 countries. Technology has suddenly become the most profitable field, and because it's emerging online and unbound by borders, these companies are quickly woven into the economies of countries around the world. But it's not just that. Facebook users don't just socialize and make relationships, they build their businesses right inside the network. They live by the rules invented by Mark Zuckerberg and do not even notice the impact the platform has on them. The government still has legal power over the giants, but their threats to divide and weaken tech companies could weaken the US position against the advancing competitors in China. Secondly, the politicians themselves may greatly need the help of tech giants in the fight against, for example, all kinds of banned organizations often looking to the internet. And third, pressuring and forcing the richest people in the world to do something is not easy. The strongest assets of the Big Five are people and money. Amazon, which owns not only digital platforms but also physical stores, warehouses, publishers, a robotics lab, and a secret medical tech lab, is the biggest employer among the tech giants. It has about as many employees as the entire Estonian population. Its presence in a city or region can be so significant that the company dictates to officials what taxes they will pay, closures to quarantine, and more. Facebook influences millions of people with a precise advertising and ranking information in the feed at its discretion. Donald Trump's campaign was a prime example, when Facebook helped the now former president's staff set up the targeted campaigning, and it worked. As a result, by virtually controlling internet traffic and e-commerce, techno giants own both minds and money, and are able to influence politics without themselves having expressed political views and offering their service to the highest bidder. And by the way, techno business deals are a serious blow to the traditional systems of lobbying adopted in the USA. They don't want to invest in politics. On the contrary, they are ready to make money on those who are in the power. Additionally, traditional states have laws that are not easy to change, and Zuckerberg can add something to the user agreement on his algorithms overnight, and you will have to go along with it if you want to see the kittens in your feed. The technocrats themselves are still dependent on governments, especially in terms of legislation about the collection of users' personal data. Facebook and Google make huge profits from advertising. Amazon is right on their heels. But in order to grow that revenue, it's important for them to get as much information about their users as possible, preferably for free. This forces corporations to invest in lobbying for their interest, although the volume of these investments is not yet comparable to the energy, financial, and pharmaceutical sectors. But lobbying for their interest does not guarantee states that tech companies will play by their rules. In fact, they would prefer full independence, territorial and legislative. The dream of the founders of Google and Facebook is a physically independent state or city where techno giants could test their inventions and their impact on society without rules or restrictions. We are already being listened to even in passive mode, and we're being advertised on a topic we recently discussed about in the kitchen. Not to mention the fact that techno giants collect petabytes of data about us and literally know everything about us, where we are, what we like to eat, what time we get up, what time we go to bed, how we move, where our home is, where our work is, who our relatives are, how much we earn, what we spend, and much, much more. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the Pro Robot channel to see more of these interesting episodes. Back to the techno giants. Territories and borders are not necessary to form a state with powerful resources, a coherent political will, loyal citizens, and even its own currency. Although Facebook's project to create its own cryptocurrency is stalling for now, sooner or later the company will get its way and will set an example for the rest. If we imagine what the world can suffer of more, the shutdown of all technology or the disappearance of all politicians, it becomes clear that the governments of all countries will soon have to recognize the existence and influence of digital states. Also, let us know your answer to this question. Who has more influence on minds today, politicians or Google and Facebook? The bottom line is that if you're going to win the war of information today, countries need to recognize the power of networked states, not as a secondary gathering place for interest groups in cyberspace, but as critical entities with power and influence. Where will this lead us? Who knows? Maybe eventually borders and governments will cease to matter, and we will be one step closer to the kind of society Jacques Fresco saw in his dreams. Or another option, when one power replaces the other, and we will live peacefully but under the supervision of smart machines programmed by the techno geniuses of the largest companies.